Okay, students, this is a video about doing the problems on 8.1. 8.1. I'll do a couple sample problems in each of the different areas. Okay, for this section here, express each fraction as a percent. So let's see, here's 4. Express this as a percent. Well, as you know, we could turn that to a decimal and then change that to a percent. Okay, that makes sense. It's 75% or 3/4 of our 100 little pieces. Okay, don't forget to use your calculator. Okay, here's a set of problems. Express each decimal as a percent. Let's look at 12. 12 is 0.96. Express that as a percent. Okay, well, that's just going to be 96%. Okay, we get that. How about 18? 19.63. Remember, we're presenting it as a percent, so you're going to still move the decimal 2 places to the right. Now that is a huge percent number. Keep that in mind. All right, look at 14.003. Remember, we're still going to move the decimal 2 points to the right, so 0.3%. That's how I would do those problems right there. Okay, now look at the directions for this section. Express each percent as a decimal. All right, so this first one I have 72% as a decimal. I'm just going to move it back 2 places. That is a decimal. How about 30? 3/4% as a decimal. Well, first of all, we know that 3/4 is 0.75. Okay, now think about this. This is not even 1%. It's not even 1%, so 0.0075. This is a decimal number. Okay, so let's take a look at this here. Use the percent formula, and now remember, A is P% of B to solve the following. All right, let's look at 36. What is 8% of 300? What is 8% of 300? Okay, so I'm going to multiply that out. Now remember, if you think about it, 10% would be 30, 1% would be 3, so the answer is going to be 24. All right, 38. What is 16% of 90? What is 16%? So here, again, we're trying to find 16% of 90. Well, let's see, half of 90 is 45, so it's going to be less than 45. You'd have to multiply that on the calculator. All right, 144. So 1440, but we're going to move the decimal 2 places back. So the answer would be 14.4. What is 16% of 90? Okay, let's look at this next item right here. 3 basic type of percent problems can be solved using the percent formula. See, we can solve for A, or we can solve for P, or we can solve for B using that formula. So that's an important idea right there. All right, so if that's true, how would we answer some of these questions? Let's look at 40. 8 is 40% of what number? Of what number goes here? Of what number? Now, all you're going to do is get rid of the 0.40 is sitting next to the B. So you're going to take your calculator and you're going to go 8 divided by 0.40, which is 20. Okay. 46. What percent is 7.5 of 0.6? Okay, we don't know the percent. I saw of, right? So 7.5 is 0.6. How would I solve that? You're going to divide the, you want to get rid of the 7.5 here, so you're going to divide 0.6 by 7.5. 0.6 divided by 7.5. And I got 0.08. 0.08. Remember, that's a decimal, so the percent is 8%. Okay, now here's something about tax. Okay, so I have 47, 48, 49, and 50. I don't know, let's just pick a number here. 48. Suppose that the local sales tax is 7%. Always write my facts out. And you purchase a graphing calculator for $96. Okay, how much tax is paid? Well, what we want is we want to know what 7% of 96 is. 7% of 96. Okay. All right, so we've got 6.72. 6.72. All right. And then B, what is the calculator's total cost? I would add this number and this number together. So that will be 102.72. Okay, that would be how I would do those problems. Okay, now this is a very good question right here. Now you're going to have to take your time and try to enjoy this. This is the key to these problems. Well, it's a breakdown of spending for the average household in days. So, for example, medical care, if you were working 365 days, you're working 52 days for your medical care. See how this works? Okay, so if I add up all of these days together, it should add up to 365. Now, question 52 says, what percentage of work time does a U.S. average household spend paying for state and local taxes? Let's see, state and local taxes. I see this right here. So it says 37 days. But what percent of work time? So we're just going to assume that we're working 365 days. So the question is, what percent of my total 365 is 37? See how we did this here? So then you're just going to take your calculator and divide 37 by 365, and I have 0.10136. Round answers to the nearest tenth. Okay, so now notice here, we're going to have to go around to the third place. So that's going to be 0.101. And what would that be as a percent? 10.1%. Okay, now notice these questions, class. We're asking such general questions. What is the percent? Okay, so remember, it's a part of 100. That's what percent is. Describe how to express a decimal number as a percent and give an example. Okay, so we did that in class. You could do that. Explain how to use the sales tax rate to determine an item's cost. So, like 2%, right? Sales tax. So to find the total item's cost, you're going to have to multiply the price of the item times 1.02, right? This part's going to give us the original price, and this part's going to give us the tax, and you'll get your total that way. That is a good way of doing. Percent. All right, 63. Describe how to find percent increase and give an example. So again, 150 divided by 100 is 1.5. Is that number greater than 1? Yes. How much? 0.5 or 50% increase. So that's how you do that. Okay, I like these questions. It's called Does It Make Sense? All right, let's say I have $100 and my restaurant bill comes to $80. Which is not enough to leave a 20% tip? Well, they got $100 and their bill is 80, right? Okay, well, what's 10%? 10% of $80 is just $8. And if that's 10%, 20% will be double that, which is 16. So does that make sense? And the answer is no, does not make sense. So this is what you're doing with these type of questions. Again, you're going to have to take time. There's not like one quick answer, look in the back of the book. I mean, you could do that and cheat if you want to, but that doesn't make any sense. You're just robbing yourself. So keep up with that.